Chat, what are we doing? So, as we know that America and Israel just bombed Iran, right? They called it Operation Epic Fury. And so what we're going to talk about is going to be this is going to be really quick. But what we're going to talk about is Trump's message to the Iranian people. The message that Trump said on his Truth Social is that take over the government and it'll be yours to take. Um so he's implying that America bombs, the people rise up, and it's up to you from there. So they kill they killed the supreme leader, I don't know how to say it, along with his daughter and granddaughter. And the Pentagon is calling it regime change. But here's what we know about regime change. A regime isn't just a few people at the top. It's an entire connected network of institutions, loyalists, and security forces. All of these people. You can kill the guy in charge and not touch the system that produced him. The system will just produce another one. Real resistance, the kind that actually changes governments, is what I'm talking about. It doesn't happen just because you dropped a bomb and said now's your chance to overthrow this government. It takes years, it takes decades even. Underground organizing and parallel structures, real risk by real people. When you get a sudden power vacuum instead, that only brings chaos. And chaos doesn't birth revolution, it kills it. We've seen this already in Iraq in 2003 when they removed Saddam and the army disbanded and they had 400,000 soldiers, trained soldiers with nothing to do. What filled the vacuum? ISIS. They in Libya 2011, Gaddafi bombed out and U.S. walked away. Libya had no functioning government since. Now all you have is two rival governments in an open slave trade. Now Iran, it's the same impulse but the less pretense, right? But here's what makes it worse, right? Tap in with me. The Iranians were still at the table. There were Iranian mediators have proposed suspending uranium enrichment in Geneva. They were coming to a peace agreement, and a foreign minister, Amani foreign minister, said there was significant progress. The talks ended Thursday. They dropped the bomb on Saturday. It wasn't this wasn't forced. It was a chosen decision. And all of this while happening with the 108 girls dying in primary school in Manab and 170 were inside. Dozens were still trapped under the rubble. Now, this morning we have the crowds in Isfahan, celebrating the death of Khamenei. I think that's forgive me. And the crowds in Tehran chanting "Death to America." Both crowds are real. Yes, and both are large. These are large demonstrations. But this is not revolution waiting for a signal. This country is split. Iran is split in half, with no structure to channel either impulse. They're waiting, and it's like a monarchy heir waiting in exile to fill this power vacuum. We've seen this before, repeatedly. What's changed is not the impulse, it's the pretense. But because all this is happening, what is the opposition doing? We have governors of California who are speaking out, senators are enraged, representatives are calling press conferences. Ro Khanna introduced a war powers resolution, and by its own framing, in his own words, it exists to get people on record, not stop anything. It's to generate material for campaign ads. This is the type of stuff we're talking about. You assert, delegate a lawyer, and hope a judge agrees. If that judge doesn't agree, you just find another one who agrees. They're trying to schedule a vote not to stop a war, but so you can just use it against someone in November. There's no action, there's no accountability. It's just performance, all the way down, right? And I get if there's one tool in the larger toolkit, but right now we're talking about the whole toolkit. This is the whole thing, right? But here's what I think is really going on. At some point, America built a system that made resistance feel unnecessary. It bred comfort and called it progress. The message became that The system is slow, but it's working. You should trust the process. This is not 2020 76ers. It's not 2021 76ers. The message, but this message is so powerful and conveniently perfect because it ensures real change actually never has to happen. Thinking about this, okay? There is now a near universal agreement across the political spectrum that the constitutional structure is enabling what's happening right now. The Anti-Federalists said this in 1788, that a strong executive with the architecture would eventually become exactly what it's become. They were right and they lost. But today, the evidence is sitting right in front of us. There is not one serious public conversation about the framework itself. Not one. Because the system keeps telling us, work within it, file the paper, schedule a hearing, make the speech, and hand it off to someone else. But every expansion of rights in American history came through confrontation, direct and often illegal and always dangerous. John Brown got called a terrorist. The civil rights movement got sanitized into a peaceful march toward an inevitable destination. Every real act of resistance either gets absorbed into national mythology, it was going to happen anyway, or gets rejected as a riot. Either way, the point is the same. You remove action, you remove accountability, you remove the understanding that change requires someone willing to pay a cost with themselves. Not press a button, not walk to a podium, not bomb a country to tell its people this is your only chance to overthrow the government for generations. Resistance has always been something you do, not something you delegate. But this is a really short video. That's all I had. Let me know what y'all think.